Nandana Gaur Hari ki jai. Jai Shri Shri Radha Govinda Deva Shri Shri Radha Baba Shri Shri Radha Binobi Hari Ju ki jai. Jai Jai Shri Radhe Shyam. Just bear with me 1 second while I dial in. I'm sure Bhumipati must have done the Stav and Stuti. Haribo.
Please announce yourself.
Haribo. Haribo. I think somebody must be on it because it's allowed me to come in. Maybe to mute it. Alright, Haribo, hopefully you can hear. If somebody can't hear it. Oh, you can hear? Okay. Alright. Yeah. Okay.
This phone doesn't even have Bluetooth, so
okay.
I'm on.
Okay.
I can hear you. All right.
Bhakti has no regard for antiquity. It was there before. It'll be there throughout all the different modifications of the communication devices. So we're good.
In other words, what's love got to do with it?
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Sri Guru Dina Bandhu Ganada Sanana Datta Kurunaya Kashindu Vindavana Shina Vatara Prasida Siddhara Pranaya Prachara Ajanalambito Bujo Kanakavadato Sankirtanai Kapitro Kamalaya Taksho Vishwambaro Dvijavayo Yugadharma Palo Vandi Jagat Priya Karo Karuna Avataro Ananda Lilamaya Vigraya Hemam Dvachta Vishundaraya Tasmai Mahapremar Shapadaya Shri Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Kasturiti Lakam Latapatale Vaksarena Kostam Nasagre Varamuktikam Karatare Venukara Kankanam Sava Anga Hari Chandanam Sulalitam Kanta Muktavali Brajastrio Parivestito Vijayate Gopala Chudamani He Shri Shama Sundara Shikara Shekara Smira Hasamila Manohara Radikarasika Mamakipanadi Sapriya Chanana King Koring Guru Tavaivasmi Na Jivami Tvaya Vino Itivigyaya Radhe Tam Nayamam Charananti Yat Kinkareshu Bahusa Kaluka Kavani Nityaparasha Purushasha Kandamuli Tashakada Rasanidhi Visavanujasta Keli Kunja Pavanangana Marjini Shama Samsara Sagare Gore Vitamam Saranangatam Savebhyo api vinimuktam radhe kuru shveshwari Bhajami radha raravinda netram Smarami radha madhura smitasyam Vadami radha karuna varajam Tato manasti vati nakapi Pakita vihina yaparada lakshai Kshirtascha kamadi tarangamaje Kripamayitam sharanam prapana Vrinde namaste charanaravindam Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuveva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Shri Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I'm sorry. So there were two things I wanted to discuss tonight. One stemmed from a question. One was just a information content regarding Srila Jiva Goswami and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, especially because tomorrow is the Avirbhav of Jiva Goswami. Tomorrow is the Avirbhav or appearance day of Jiva Goswami tomorrow. So I don't know what the program will be here. I think they're trying to be a little judicious in how they utilize the space here now, because there's been so many programs back to back and so many festivals and this and that it's been a little, I think, wearing on the city as a whole, and we have to be, not city but at least the area here, and we're going to have to be conscious of that and be mindful of it and surrender to, waiting until we can get our future plans in place. But I thought tonight I would start with that discussion about a uniqueness of Srila Jiva Goswami and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, because I think it's something important for devotees to understand overall, so they can understand sometimes the context of the writings of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur as opposed to the writings of Jiva Goswami. We say that in our whole Guru Varga that there is a consistency of conception. So it's not that what Rupa and Sanat and Jiva Goswami have written, Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote something different. But time, place, circumstance. What?
Is that feedback or just?
I don't know what it is.
No, it's a short grounding problem.
Oh, okay. So not that they have written anything different, but time, place, circumstance. And time, place, circumstance doesn't always mean that the conception is adjusted just for time, place, circumstance. Two eternal messages can be delivered differently according to time, place, and circumstance. So you get that idea? The message remains eternal. It remains consistent with the overarching message given by Krishna Mahaprabhu to Rupa Goswami, etc. But in the time and place that it's given, a certain emphasis may be given. So, in particularly, after the Mool Grantha of our Sampradaya, who knows what the Mool Grantha of our Sampradaya is? First of all, Srimad Bhagavatam, no doubt. But among the Goswami's writings, what is the Mool Grantha?
What's that word mean?
Mool means root.
Oh.
Root.
Sandarbhas?
All right, what?
Brihad Bhagavatamrita.
Wow.
Sanatana Goswami has written Brihad Bhagavatamrita. That was the first of the Goswami books written. And that is the Mool Grantha. Because what he did in Brihad Bhagavatamrita was he clarified the perspective of Srimad Bhagavatam. The history is that when Sri Vyasadeva, who is the empowered incarnation, Vedanta Krit Veda Vedeva Chaham is written in Bhagavad Gita. So Vedanta Krit means the person who compiled the Vedas. So Vyasadeva was empowered by Krishna to write the Vedas and disseminate the Vedic knowledge. So he divided, Vedas always exist, they're eternal. So he divided the four Vedas to make them functional to the progress of the jivas in the world. Some section is for sacrifice, some section for prayer, some section for ritual, like this, right? Then he added Upanishads, Aranyakas, all these things as the philosophical treatises which go around the Vedas to give the philosophical import of why these things are done in the Vedas, right? Then he wrote all of the Pancharatras, Itihas, all these things, which means Mahabharata. Itihas means history. So Mahabharata, all the Pancharatras, all the Puranas, right? The difference between an Itihas and a Purana is that the Puranas are not chronological. So the reason for writing a Purana is much like the case law file of a lawyer. You know, when a lawyer goes to court, they want to prove a point. So they don't have to follow a chronology to do that. They may take one case from 1975, one case from 1960, one case from 1990. As long as the theme of what they're trying to prove is embedded in that case, it's useful for them. So this is how Puranas are written, that the Puranas are to establish a certain theme, right? And all Shastra is written like that. It's called Upakrama, Upasamhar, Abhyas. There's 6 things. These 3 things are most prevalent. So Upakrama, Upasamhara means for what purpose was the book written and what's the conclusion of the book. Abhyas means there should be a theme that runs throughout that you can follow. This is the theme. So even if there's a story that goes this way or that way, you can keep the thread. You know what I mean? Like we're discussing decorating the temple. In the course of that, we may start discussing the prices of decorations in different stores. But our theme is the decoration of the temple. So this abhyas is like that in Shastra. So all the Puranas are like that. So though they're not chronological, they follow that system just like all Shastra does.
Bhagavad Purana too?
Bhagavad Purana as well. Bhagavad Purana is not chronological, but it follows that same system. Similarly, not similarly, but differently rather, itihasas are histories. And therefore there's chronology, like Ramayana and Mahabharata. There's a chronology of events that took place and so forth, so on. Right? So when Vyasadeva got to writing the Puranas, he was taking all the case histories, everything. He wrote everything down. He was empowered to write it. It was appearing in his heart. He was narrating the itihasas to Ganesh. And he told Ganesh, I can write anything you want. You could know court stenographers. What do they call them, court reporters? Yeah. He said that. Yeah. Where do you think they got that from? He's the Adi court reporter. You understand? Because I used to watch that when I go to court, and I used to think, I know they got me getting something wrong, because you just can't type that fast. You know what I mean? On the little machine thing.
My mother was a stenographer.
Oh, you are, yeah. So I used to think,
It's a special typewriter.
Oh, really?
And they write it short.
Yeah.
Short.
I'm sure they must use computers now, so maybe they still use it. I don't know.
Now
Yeah, so this is a good idea of how we got off, and now we can get back on. But Ganesh could like that. He could, do everything. So Vyasa says, yes, you're amazing at your ability to write whatever I speak, but can you understand it? So then Vyasa challenged that, you can only write it after you've contemplated and understood it. So that slowed Ganesh down. Right? So...
Isn't it Ganesh was going to, he said, I'll write only until, like if you stop, then
I'm going to stop going. So that's what he told him. Only if you can understand it, you can write it. Right. So, like this, when Vyasadeva was compiling, he was inspired by Bhagavan. But nobody can tell whether Vyasadeva himself understood the actual goal and perspective of everything he was writing. Because his empowerment is to write it. His empowerment, Vyas literally means a circumference that runs through the middle of a circle to each side. So that's what he was doing with the Shastra. He was going right through the center conception, but did he himself grasp the center conception? So how can we even begin to say that out of our mouths? Did Vyasadeva understand? It was not us who doubted it. Who doubted it? Huh. Parvati asked to Mahadev. She was sitting on the lap of Mahadev and she said, well, what is the story of Vyas? He has such an amazing service. He's a #1 book distributor in all of the original ISKCON. So how is it possible? What is his situation? So then Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva is Mahajan. So he said, Aham Ved Me, I understand clearly the meaning of all Shastra Bhagavan, including Bhagavatam. Aham Ved Me, Shukko Ved Me. Shukdev Goswami, he also knows. So what is their qualification to know? If you have any any form in Goloka Vrindavan, you can understand what is the highest goal of Goloka Vrindavan. So what is the form of Lord Shiva in Goloka Vrindavan? Gopeshwar Mahadev. So he directly has experience of what is the highest category of understanding. What of Shukadev? What's his form in the spiritual world? Radhika's parrot. He is the Krida Shuk. Krida means play parrot of Radhika. Therefore, he knows. So he said, Aham vedmi, Ashuko vedmi, Vyasa veti, na veti va. I don't know if he knows or not. Because what is the form of Vyasadeva in Krishna Lila? We don't know. So he said, until unless you have a Rup and Swarup, which shows you've accomplished that, how can we say if you know or you don't know? And what did Krishna himself say about Vyasadeva? Huh? Vedas chasma hameva vejo, Vedantavit, Vedakrit, eva chaham. So I'm the original compiler of everything, and from me all of these things are coming. I am the person who is the object of knowledge of the Vedas. So Krishna took his position, Vishaya Jatya. Who does not know what Vishaya Jatya means? Vishaya Jatya means the object of all worship and all love and affection. It's called the Vishaya. Then he said that I'm also the person who knows the Vedas. So who is the person who knows Krishna the best? Radhika. So now Krishna established, here's my position. I'm the person to be known by the Vedas. The best knower of the Vedas is Srimati Radhika. Right? And from her, all bhakti and anybody who really wants to know the object of the Vedas, they will have to get Radhika Shakti. Radhika Shakti means Swarup Shakti. If you really want to know. Or any degree of Swarup Shakti. If it is Vaikuntha, then you'll get Swarup Shakti related to Vaikuntha. If it is Ram Lila, you'll get Swarup Shakti related to Ram Lila. But unless and until you get that Swarup Shakti, you cannot fully understand what is the spiritual realm. So he said, I am the object of the knowledge. The knower of that is my own Shakti Radhika. But Vedanta Krit. Krit means the person who compiled it. That's Vyasadeva. But no statement of what is his position. You understand my point? You understand? That Vyasadeva, we don't know his position. So then, Srimad Bhagavatam reveals his position. He compiled Srimad Bhagavatam, and then he entrusted all the Puranas to Ramahashana Sutta. Different people he gave different things. Jaimini Rishi something, Samanta Rishi something. To Ramahasana he gave Puranas. So Ramaharsan was now the talk of the town. Everybody's waiting to hear Harikatha Ramaharsan. They'll pay his air tickets, everything. Because they want him to come. He has all of what Vyasadeva has compiled. So when the sages of Namasananya gathered, right? Because Brahma, they went to Brahma, Kali Yuga is coming. We don't know what we will do. This is going to be a very dark age, very dark time. Brahma said, don't worry about it, I got you covered. He went into his storage. He took one huge wheel, took the wheel out and bowled the wheel. The wheel went rolling, and then where the wheel stopped, that place became known as Namasananya. So all the sages took shelter of that place, right? And they're waiting, how will we hear and understand what's going on? Ramaharsan Sutta shows up to speak Bhagavat Katha, meaning all Puranic Katha about Bhagavan. But, now this is how you know it's not working chronologically or in some time sequence. Same time, right? Vyasadeva in Sampras ashram. This is the ashram of Vyasadeva in the Himalayas. He's there, and though he's written everything, he's still himself not feeling fulfilled in his meditation and seva. So, the personification of bhakti comes there to Sampras ashram. Who's the personification of bhakti besides Radhika? Within the creation, one personification of bhakti took place. First, Narada Muni. First, Gyan. Vairagya, Tapasya, Gyan, Vairagya, Tapasya, and Yog. They manifested from Brahma in this world. Who were those four persons? Four Kumaras. So the four Kumaras personified Gyan, Tapasya, Yogya, and Vairagya. But with those four things, can you understand what is Goloka Vrindavan? No. Unless and until Bhakti comes, Swarup Shakti. Therefore, afterwards, from the heart of Brahma who appeared? Narada Muni. He is the personification of bhakti. So Narada Muni, he came to Sampras ashram and he inquired, oh, you're so glorious personality, highly qualified, because Bhagavan himself has given you Shakti to compile and disseminate all the Vedic knowledge. Without Vedic knowledge, the world cannot go on. Even mundane sciences are also included in Vedic knowledge. Right? You have Ayurveda, Jyotis, Astrovidya means military science, right? All mathematics, right? Dhanurved is martial sciences, right?
What's Jyoti?
Jyotish means astrology. And so they used to do everything by calculating the auspicious time to do it, etc., right? So all these elements are needed in society. So the Vedas, they included everything. So, oh, you've done such magnificent work for human society. And anyone naturally, if they've done so much social welfare work, won't they feel happy? Most people, you do, even you plant a tree. I'm like, yes. Can you put my name on there with a plaque? Give one plaque with my name on there. Tree by Mukunda. You know? So people feel some sense, but Vyasadeva, he's fully accomplished. He wasn't empowered by the local botany society. He was empowered by Bhagavan. You understand? Still, he felt some absence. So Narada Muni could detect, and he asked, "Oh, how are you feeling?" He said, "Oh, I'm not going to even make believe I know the cause of my dissatisfaction. Because if I knew the cause of my dissatisfaction, I can handle it. Work on it. You understand? So this is the first thing of honesty. There's a big lesson in here. Right? Because Srila Gurudev, many times he would come to devotees, like during any festival, and he'd say, "How are you doing?" Right? And most of the devotees would say, "Oh, fine, Gurudev, this week." You understand? Now, after this week, all the problems, everything will be back again, but this week, I'm fine. You understand? So Gurudev, what he really wanted to hear is just to reveal, even on that spot, "Oh, Gurudev, only by your mercy. Oh, Gurudev, not so good. No high class of bhajan. I don't have a high class of bhajan." Then Gurudev can give only a couple words. "Oh, you keep chanting. You keep doing your anik. Oh, don't be hopeless. Don't be weak. You understand? I will help you in all ways.
Read my books.
Read my books." So all these little one-liners were actually what Gurudev wanted to elicit so that that connection could be made. But "I'm fine" is the stop answer even in our material world. Right? I didn't pay the rent. I just went to the doctor and found out my nose and arms are falling off. Everything else. And then you see somebody on the street. "Hey, how you doing?" "Hey, I'm doing all right." You understand? This just is built into our psychology. Somebody we know maybe will reveal, but in general, we don't reveal. Right? We keep closer. But Vyasadeva said, "I don't know my problem." So Nathan Goswami also talking to Mahaprabhu said, "I don't know what's wrong. If I knew what was wrong, I'd try to adjust. So you have to tell me what's wrong." Same thing Vyasadeva told to Nard. "Oh, Nard, you are like the wind. You can perceive everyone's heart." So now this is another very, very great lesson. Because when Sutta Goswami was glorifying Shukadeva Goswami, he said, what's that verse? "Yam bravajantam amapeti krityam dvaiparano virhara kartahara juhava putaitritam mayata tarano binedus tam savabhuta ridayam muninam natoshmi." So tam savabhuta ridaya means that his guru, Sutta Goswami, these were the two prayers of pranam mantras to Shukadeva Goswami that Sutta Goswami recited before speaking at Namasaranya. He said, "Oh, my Gurudev, he had the power to enter into the hearts of all." You understand? Why is this important? If you're having problems, you could just go to a psychologist, lay down on the couch, get your checkbook ready, and then speak your mind. Understand? But what can't the psychologists do?
Can't enter into the heart.
They can't enter their own heart. They don't know who they are. Let's speak of entering your heart. So this is the magnificent position of actual guru. Guru has the ability to enter into the hearts of everyone. You understand? When they enter the heart, they can diagnose, they can actually do the work necessary, then they can leave behind what's necessary for you to get love of God. Therefore, it's important to be able to enter the heart. So he told Tanaka, "Well, you have this ability to enter everyone's heart. You can discern what is wrong with me, and you can correct it." So that time Nard told, "Oh, Vyas, I've observed one thing. Though you've done monumental work, everything you've done, still because you yourself, right, have not shown clearly the path of bhakti. You've not described clearly in perspective the glories of Shri Radha Krishna Yugal. You've not yourself described the glories of the various dhams and their relationships. You've not done these things." Now, I asked Srila Gurudev a question years ago, because I had read Padma Puran. Bhavishya Puran said, "But Gurudev, in Padma Puran, So many descriptions of Radha Krishna there. Brahma Vaivat Puran. So many descriptions about it. How I say Vyasadeva didn't write it? Gurudev said he did not write perspective. You understand what perspective means? He wrote it all down, but he did not put it in any perspective. Now this gets to my point about Sanatana Goswami and why his Mool Granth is very important. After I finish Vyasadeva, I'll come to that. So then Narada Muni told you didn't do these things. So you are already qualified because you have no attachment to the material world. This is the first qualification. You must at least be free from any material entanglement. Right? From the position of being free from material entanglement, now you can do bhakti. And by doing bhakti, you'll be able to understand. You cannot just do bhakti. Because bhakti is divided into two things in practice. What two things? Sadhana, Vaidhi, and Raganuga. So what did he tell Vyasadeva to do? Bhakti yogena manasi samyak pratihile amale. He said, you perform manasik seva bhakti. Who performs manasik seva bhakti? Vaidhi or Raganuga? Raganuga. Because you cannot perform manasik seva. Manasik here doesn't mean your mind. The mental function of any jiva is full of many impressions from so many material things, and even when it attains liberation, until Swarup Shakti is present there are no impressions in the spiritual category to actually give you any actual information of the spiritual world. So if you try to do manasik seva prior to Swarup Shakti's entrance, it'll become kalpana. Kalpana means imagination. Right? Like I will be one manjari and everything, and I'll be doing my manjari seva, but then I'll remember that my wife is making pancakes. You understand? And then an overwhelming desire for syrup seva will come. You know, also, this is how everything will become distorted. So I'm joking, but everything will become distorted like this because the actual thing has to come by the actual substance. And all of these things in the deeper realm are in Swarup Shakti. They're not in the vritti of the intelligence. Vritti means function of the intelligence or the mind. They're in Swarup Shakti. But he told Vyasa, you're already qualified to that point. So you sit down and you do manasik seva bhakti raganuga bhajan like this. And in doing that, you'll give an example to the world for one. And for two, apashat purusham puranam mayayam upasritam. You'll see in perspective everything. So Vyasadeva, when he did that, then Vyasadeva went, he understood everything. You understand? Then he thought, what I understand is that I wish that any associate of Radha and Krishna would come. And if any associate of Radha and Krishna comes, any high class of associate, I can speak all of these things. And then they can narrate it because this rasa of Radha and Krishna is such a high class thing. And it's not flowing from my heart in the way I would like it to. So what happened? One day he was in his ashram. He was constantly absorbed in thinking about all the things he had written. Somebody's going to mute out. He was constantly absorbed in all the things he had written. At that time, in Kailas, Lord Shiva was narrating the entire Srimad Bhagavatam to Parvati. Parvati was sitting on his lap and he was narrating. And he had come to Panchama Skanda, means the 5th canto of Bhagavatam. So he started talking about Jambudvip, the earth is flat or round. Then they were debating, right? Then they checked Facebook to see who was also. So everything was going on. This time Parvati, she started. Yes, because 5th canto very, right? Yeah, so many, the earth is like this is the structure of the universe. Many good lessons also 5th cantos. Rahugana, so many things there also. But this section, she became a little tired. So much Tattva Siddhanta overwhelmingly. So then, Parvati to let Lord Shiva, because Lord Shiva was absorbed when he was speaking. And sometimes when you become absorbed, even devotees now, when they're speaking, they'll close their eyes. Srila Prabhupada, whenever he would speak, Hari Katha, many times he would close his eyes. And then we were imitating that. right? The people sit down, they close their eyes. There was one devotee, I'm telling you the truth. There's one devotee, this is a true story. I'm telling you. There's one devotee in Africa, he had narcolepsy. As a devotee, I tell you, he used to fall asleep during kirtan. So he sat down to give class, and he used to see us all sit down and do like that. So he sat down, and he was doing that, and then he was trying to remember a verse, right? And in order to help with teaching them, we would not say the verse, we think about it, keep thinking about it. So he, in the Bhagavatam, while he's thinking of the verse. So we said, from now on, people, you give class, eyes open. Keep your eyes open. Right? We won't do.
We've had one of those in Gainesville here.
Oh, really? Yeah, no sadhu pose. We call it the sadhu pose. Yeah, no sadhu pose. And keep your eyes open. So, in this way, what was I talking about? Shukadev Goswami. So, Lord Shiva was narrating, and Lord Shiva being absorbed. This is an anubhav of absorption. It's not a mundane thing. You don't close your eyes to try to see something. Right? One anubhav of becoming absorbed in Harikatha is that the inner realizations coming in your heart that they're like on TV. So then going into trance, antaradhasya. One is simultaneously inwardly and outwardly available. So Lord Shiva was like that. He was absorbed and he was speaking. And Parvati, to encourage him to continue speaking, she would answer, go on. Beautiful. Sadhu, sadhu. So in this way, when Lord Shiva was reciting, he was being nourished. You understand? To let know that she was understanding. So at one point, Parvati started to nod, but still one voice, similar to the voice of Parvati's, was saying, sadhu, sadhu, go on, aho, aho, like this. So Lord Shiva, he opened his eyes to glance to see what Parvati's gathering. And Parvati was in Nidra. So he said, wait. So then she woke up. He said, well, I thought you were understanding. You were answering me. She said, oh my Lord, I'm very sorry. So many things you began to narrate, they were a little more complicated. And for this reason, the sweetness of other pastime, somehow I lost my concentration. So then, well, how were you answering me if you lost your concentration? Oh, I didn't answer anything. Honestly. He said, well, there must be someone else here. So then he said, oh, I know also, if anybody's in the presence of Kailash Lord Shiva, we must detect some other presence here. Not just among the animals. Somebody here is not just regular animal who should be here. So that time, Krita Shuka, right, Shukdev was getting a little nervous. Of Cupid like this here, shriveled up, burnt up. Just to let you know, but don't come in, if you're not supposed to be here. Right? So Shukadev became a little nervous. So then he couldn't maintain it when he took off. Right? And Lord Shiva began chasing him. And Lord Shiva chased him all the way to the ashram of Vyasadeva. At that time, the wife of Vyasadeva was there. And she was discussing with her husband their desire to have anybody who could come and who could reflect the heart of Vyasadeva, because they had no children, no offspring, right? So they were praying, except who became Vichavir and all these like this, right? Who was the last one? Dhritarashtra, right? So in this way, when she was speaking, she opened her mouth and that. And Vyasadeva said, oh, Mahadev, Dandavat Pranam, says, why you're running so much anxiety? Has anything happened to the universe? Because we know at the time of the end of the destruction, you inspire all the Rudras, everything. Has anything we should be alarmed about? He said, no, only that one person has unauthorizedly heard the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this is a very interesting thing. Because even though he was narrating the 5th canto, it didn't say he was narrating 10th canto. He said somebody's unauthorizedly heard. What does it mean? The Harikatha coming from the mouth of any pure devotee is itself Swarup Shakti. And if you don't come and offer proper relationship proper saranagati to that Vaishnav, it's like stealing. You understand?
Yeah.
This lesson was also taught in Raghunath Das Goswami and Nityananda Prabhu, as far as Mahaprabhu was concerned. You should not try to steal Harikatha. I remember Srila Gurudev used to say, I remember sometimes we would be crowded and we would sit on the side of Gurudev, a little behind the Vyasasan, and Gurudev used to say, come forward. Sit here. So you should not try to be in a stealthy way to try to hear. You should give proper honor and regard to that Vaishnava from whom you're hearing, right? And proper mood. You understand? So he said, this person has unauthorizedly heard Srimad Bhagavatam. So then Vyasadeva, himself compiler of Bhagavatam, says, but the nature of Bhagavatam is whoever hears it becomes free from all kinds of sin. So if they had heard Bhagavatam, what could be their crime or sin in hearing it? How can they be unauthorized? So now two things happen. One is now that same Lord Shiva who was saying, Aham Vedmi, Shukla Vedmi, Vyasa Vedti na Vetiva, he had to say, oh. Understand? Oh, he does know. He does know, in fact, now. You understand? This is one thing. He also became pacified. And he gave blessings. Whoever had heard that Bhagavatam, oh, may he be all successful. Lord Shiva departed. So now, all of a sudden, Bitika, the wife of Vyasadeva, was pregnant. Right? Because that Shukla had taken shelter of her womb. This was in Ananda Vrindavan Champu, some part. Because some devotees asked where this had come from to Gurudev. Right? Because Gurudev narrated this story. Gurudev also, if it had come from his heart, it is also Sastra, however. But I remember we had a whole online thing. I didn't see this written anywhere. So I saw it in Ananda Vrindavan Champu. Some narrators, here you go. Understand? So now, some almost 16, some say 12 years passed. And that Shukla was still in the womb of Bitika, the wife of Vyasadeva. So Shukadev is anxiously waiting. Oh, he'll come out. He'll be like my son. Right? So he's waiting and waiting. So then Vyasadeva starts to speak to that Shukla. Oh, are you planning on coming out anytime soon? 9 months is normal. 1 year is way beyond. 12 years is ridiculous. Right? So then that Shuk spoke back. I have no interest to come into this material world. I am completely Atmaramita. Completely Atmaramita. Means I'm completely self-satisfied. I have no need to come into the material world. So then Vyasadeva says, what can we do? Because I have so much work I would like to give you. I have so many gifts I want to give you. What can we do to make you come into the material world? He said, if you can remove your Maya, right, from this world, then I will come. Now, how can you remove Maya from the material world? You cannot remove Maya from the material world. So what did Vyasadeva do?
He said I could do it for about 1 second.
By the presence of Krishna. By the presence of Krishna for 1 second. Right? So for 1 second, by the influence of Krishna, through Krishna Nam, that Maya was removed. Immediately when Shukadev came out of the heart of Bitika, immediately taking advantage, he ran away. Why? Because he's thinking, oh, 1 second, I'll be gone, and now the curtain of Maya, if it closes back, it will not close on me to make me have family attachment. This is my father, this is my mother, this is my home. Immediately he ran away, and this is the inspiration of the verse, Yam Pravajantam Anupetam Peta Krityam, this verse, that when he ran off into the woods, that Vyasadeva was thinking, come back, oh my son, my son. But only the trees echoed back a response. Means Shukadeva Goswami didn't give any heed to Vyasadeva. Right? And when Shukadeva Goswami was running, he ran past one lake, and in that lake, there were very young maidens who were bathing at that time. And though they were fully undressed, they did not bother when Shukadeva Goswami ran past them. But as soon as they saw Vyasadeva coming, immediately their lajja, shyness came. And they covered themselves and put themselves in proper perspective. Right? Proper mood. So Vyasadeva in his mind, he also wondered, what happened? I'm sage of such high quality, everything else. And my son is very young, very beautiful, and also fully unclothed. Shukadeva Goswami, nothing. He was only dressed by the wind. You understand? But why no reaction at all? Another lesson was taught here. Jiva Goswami wrote, If your body undergoes vikar in the association of the opposite sex, you are not ready for Raganuga Bhajan. Written in Sandarbhas.
If your body what?
Undergoes vikar due to the influence of the modes of nature in the association of the opposite sex, you're not on the platform of doing Raganuga Bhakti. That doesn't mean we cannot aspire. That doesn't mean that we cannot hear, chant under the association and guidance. But we're not eligible, for instance, for doing smart, Lila Smart and all these things. Right? Because there is no capacity free from material influence. Right? The verse, Sava Upadi Vinir Muktam, this verse is very important. Sava Upadi means all the different designations we have around this body. Until and unless they're given up, then the Siddha Deha of any jiva doesn't make its appearance. Because if the Siddha Deha is present and the Upadi is present, it'll make you schizophrenic. Right? Because you understand my point? You'll be thinking, right? Well, yeah, I'm this gopi until I get home. Right? Right? What are you doing here? You're serving. Rup Manjari told me to hand her the flowers. I handed her the flowers. What the Super Bowl was coming on? Start throwing the flowers, right? Rupa, catch! Understand? Yeah, it is, right? The Super Bowl's I'm only kidding. What game? Super Bowl? I don't think that.
NCAA champion.
Oh.
No,
I thought you said the Super Bowl's coming. I said, no, that can't be. For real? Okay, anyway. All jokes aside. So my point being, even though I'm joking, the serious point is that if the presence of any upadi is there, that upadi will force a connection with you that will not allow the purity of your swabhav, your natural connection with the Siddha Deha. You understand? When the sadhak's body is perfected, then he can do seva sadika rupena siddha rupena chatrahi. These are two verses that Rupa Goswami quoted regarding the position of Raganuga Bhakti. One verse says, in one form as a sadhaka, you go on hearing and chanting, but it's perfected hearing and chanting. Internally, the results of that hearing and chanting has produced sajja bhav in the heart, means perfected feeling in the heart. So now, the darshan of the actual swarup of that jiva is present. So then he can also, or she can also do seva in that internal swarup. You understand? If you still are so full of upadis, then if you see the other person, well, what's going on here? You understand? You'll think, the person of false ego here, yeah, that's my manjari form. This my disco form, this my at work form, and my gopi form. You understand? So like this, you cannot help it. Because the upadis and the influence of avidya shakti is strong like that. You understand? Other than that, we could turn around tomorrow and say, I don't want to be in ignorance anymore, I just want to be Krishna conscious. But you can see how strong the influence is. Therefore, by the practice of sadhan bhajan and Guru Kripa, he gradually, when those things have been removed, then it makes space for the Siddha Deha. You understand? In pure consciousness. Right? Shravan Adi Sura Chitta Koryoyodoi. The arising of the Jiva Swarup will come when his chitta is soothed. Chitta means a consciousness, is soothed. How will that happen? Sravanadi. Sravan means hearing. So by Shravan, Kirtan, Smaran, etc., the consciousness will become pure. Then naturally, the Nitya Sura Bhav in the heart of the Jiva will arise. That verse, what's that verse? Nitya Sura Krishna Prema Satya Kabunoi. That's the Bengali of the verse, Kriti Sajja Bhavet Sajja of Rupa Goswami. The Bengali version of Rupa Goswami's verse is that verse. Right? That actually, the last line of Rupa Goswami's verse was, Prakratam Rivi Sadgyata. The Sajja, or the Nitya Sura Bhav, that is the constitutional swarup of the jiva, will arise in his heart upon obtaining Sajja. That has come from, Kriti Sajja means, by doing sadhana with the senses and by the mercy of Guru. It'll bring about the condition. It cannot bring about the sajja. You can't force bhakti to come. Like you cannot say, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hey, it's been 40 years, man. we should put in a call. We should put in a call to who's ever in charge of distributing this thing, right? I've been here 40 years now, and this thing still has not come. I'm even retired from my job, and they gave me a watch and everything. I haven't even got a darshan yet. Right? I haven't even got a darshan yet. Right? I even got a watch from the job, but they didn't even give me darshan at one time. Understand? So bhakti can't be forced by the senses. The darshan of Krishna comes of its own accord. You understand? There's a very nice teaching that Pujya Srila Bhakti Swarup Siddha Maharaj gave when he was here. He described something like the waiting list. And we had that discussion. Remember that? It was an excellent point he made. That when you come into asakti, right, coming to the stage where there's eligibility for bhavavas, means the stage of bhav, right? Still, Krishna may hold back in order to increase because asakti is the stage of do or die. I cannot take anymore. If I cannot have this, I'll die tomorrow. So that feeling, you won't die, but that feeling will intensify. Krishna can do that in order to make the intensity of those feelings deeper. Whom in Bhagavatam did he do that to? Whom we've been talking about tonight? To Nard Muni. He gave darshan one time. So if he gave darshan, Nard was eligible for the darshan of Bhagavan. Yeah, but you'll never see me again in this lifetime. Even to tell you that. Huh? After getting this darshan, you told me, yeah, not going to see me anymore. That's it. For this lifetime. Right? Most people say, let me just jump off a cliff or something. Right? He showed, but he gave everything to Dhruva. What was going to happen, he gave it. He told Nara, you can only see me once in this lifetime, just continue doing Sadhan Bhajan.
But why not the same reaction that Narada had?
Because
still had material desire.
No, material desire is gone by that time, but because he had material desires in the beginning, that had to play out. Nard had no material desires at this point. Or it was in the state it describes of Murchit Kosai. Murchit Kosai means there are material desires, but they're dormant. By the effect of bhakti, they're not influencing you anymore. Right? They can only arise up by an aparad. Understand? So it's like, an example is given. If you put pasta in a Tupperware thing, right? Even after you take the Tupperware out and wash it, do you see any pasta or anything inside? Tomato sauce? No. But what happens to the Tupperware? It's like a little film there. You understand? It's like a little red residue film. There's no actual pasta or sauce in there, but the film of that thing, you can kind of still see it. That's just the nature of plant. That's how Murchit Kashaya is. There's no actual material desire, but the remnants of what was there are still present. You understand? It's called Murchit Kashaya. So this is how Nard was. Right? So this is the nature of how about, now what were we talking from there? I don't want to lose my channel. We spoke that Nard, Murchit Kashaya. What was the point? Mool Grunt. We're going to come to Sanatana Goswami now. So, in these cases, so my point was now Shukadeva Goswami is gone. He's left home. And now Vyasadeva is running and yelling, hey, come back, come back. Only the trees answered. So now also, Vyasadeva wondered why the damsels, they changed when he came, but they didn't do that when his son passed. Even though the son was of appropriate age for that kind of dynamic to take place. So then he realized, this is a suitable person. Because not only does he not become influenced, but in his presence, others also don't become influenced. Because Vyasadeva had the external position of being a grahastha. You understand? Just by that varna, and just like Ramananda Roy, not Ramananda Roy, but Maharaj Prataparudra, because he was a king, just in the varna, he was a great devotee. But just because you have the dress of a king, I cannot associate. So Vyasadeva still maintained the ashram, and he had a wife. So those women followed the etiquette that you must have dual drishti. Dual drishti means like you can see two things, man and woman. You have to because you have a wife. You understand? But Shukadeva Goswami, he thought that I'm not this body completely. And he also, the women could feel, no, he doesn't see us as this body. So they felt no discomfort. So also that lesson was there. So Vyasadeva thought, this person, he's so qualified to give Srimad Bhagavatam that I've been given. So what he did was he went and he told the woodsmen, the people who work in the forest collecting wood and doing other things, have you seen any young sadhu here? You could not miss him. His body is so beautiful that simply by seeing it, the influence comes in your heart. Right? So when he spoke like that, I said, oh yeah, how can we miss him? Everybody here is very rough looking, working in the woods. Yeah, we saw this very beautiful, young, soft, very wonderful person. Yeah, we saw. How? If you see him again, tell him. He recited Venugit, one verse. How beautiful is So he told this verse. So he says, if you hear this and you see him, tell him this verse, and then I'll come and check with you again. So they saw Shukadeva Goswami, and by the mercy of Vyasadeva, that verse entered the hearts of the woodsmen. So when they saw Shukadeva, completely charmed. And whatever Brahmavada that was broken. Because in order to take shelter of coming into this world, he asked that Maya should be removed. But did he ask that Bhakti should be present? He did not. He asked that Maya should be removed. Another lesson. The removal of Maya is not Bhakti. You understand? The removal of Maya is not Bhakti. The removal of Maya is at best Brahmananda. Means impersonal realization. And if somebody has Mayavad, then the inherent aparad in thinking Bhagavan transforms to become the mode of goodness whenever there's an avatar, like Ram or Krishna, etc. That offense makes it impossible for you to associate even with the Brahman effulgence of Bhagavan. So you can become free from the influence of the material world, but you cannot enter into the Brahman. So what verse covers those people? Ye ne ravindaksha vimukti manis tvayasnavavar avisuddha buddhaya. They have avisuddha buddhi. It means, though they're free from the material world, they don't have any locus standi or any connection with the spiritual realm, not even Brahman. So what happens to them again? Padantyado nadrita yushman angra. They fall down again to this world. Because if you actually obtain Brahman, how could you fall down? You cannot fall down from Brahman. They don't obtain Brahman. This is how they fall down. If you've tasted Brahmananda, Brahmananda, Brahmano hi pratishtaham, it is the direct effulgence of Krishna's body. Coming into that association, you cannot fall from there. Therefore, it means they did not obtain Brahman. They only came in between in Tatashta Swabhav. In Tatashta Swabhav, they have no material influence, but also Swarup Shakti is not present. Not even Brahman, not even influence of Brahman is present. Right? So, Shukadeva Goswami, however, in order to have Maya removed, then he entered into the state of Brahman. Therefore, it says in all the commentaries that Shukadeva Goswami, when he first came from the womb of Bitika, he was a Brahmavadi, like the four Kumaras. Was he actually a Brahmavadi? No, his original Swarup is in Golok. But in this Leela, he comes out into Brahmavad. And what does he show? Even those who are Atmaramatas in Brahman, if they hear the Harikatha regarding Krishna, their Brahmavad is broken. So when he heard the verse of Venugita, his Brahmavad was broken. His impersonal attachment was broken. So once that happened, then Vyasadeva said, did you see my son? Yes, we saw him. We told him what you told to say. When we told him like that, he swooned and fainted. And before we could come to get you, he was up and he was gone again. He was reciting that verse over and over and he was gone again. So next time you see, you tell this verse. Oh, Bhakti Yamstana Kalakuta Jigam Hamtyapi Ashwadi. This verse says, Kavad Halum. Where can I find anyone more merciful than Krishna? He accepted the breast milk of Putana even though it was poison. and he gave her the destination of like his own mother, because she became a nursemaid wet nurse in Golok, mean opulent part of Golok, right? How merciful is Krishna that he granted even this person such a destination. So when they saw Sukadeva Goswami again, they recited that verse to him. And then what happened? Sukadeva Goswami's heart melted in compassion. Because what is this verse for? This verse is to show the Karun Shakti of Bhagavan. Means the mercy that Bhagavan has. But Bhagavan himself does not deliver the souls in this world. How does he deliver the souls in this world? To his pure devotees. Bhagavan himself does not come to do that. You study Shastra closely, you see Paritranaya Sadhunam, Anugrahaya Bhaktanam. He comes for his devotees. The devotees deliver other people. So when Shukadeva Goswami heard that, his heart completely melted. And then he came to Vyasadeva. And hearing from Vyasadeva more and more, Vyasadeva narrated Srimad Bhagavatam to that Shukadeva Goswami. Later, that Shukadeva Goswami, of course, he narrated that same Srimad Bhagavatam on the bank of Jamuna, Ganga, depending on different variations of Puranas, to Maharaj Parikshit. At the time he was leaving this world with only 7 days to live. At that time, so many people came there also to witness the passing of Maharaj Parikshit and also to hear the great speaker, Shukadeva Goswami, who was narrating directly what he had heard from Vyasadeva. Among the people in that audience was whom? Never Maharsan. Sutta Goswami. Maharsan had already gone on to the next level. Right? Because Balaram, when he did not fight in the battle of Kurukshetra, he did Tirtha Yatra, going to all the holy places. Because if Baladev does not go to the holy places, they can't be infused with Sandhini Shakti. If there's no Sandhini Shakti, Aladini and Samvit, which is the internal potency of Krishna, has nowhere to reside. So the place will be mundane. You understand? So the Shakti of Baladev is what attracts. Because one feature of Baladev is called Sankara Shana. Means he attracts Krishna to come. So by his visiting the holy places, he infuses his energy there. That attracts Swarup Shakti to be there. Therefore, when pilgrims go there, they get the blessings. Then he came everywhere around, and then he came to Namaskiranya. When he came into Namaskiranya, all the sages stood up immediately because they could understand this was Baladev. But Romaharsan Sutta, was he at fault for not standing up? No. Not by dharmic etiquette, because in Dharma, if you're giving class, if you're sitting on the seat of Vyasa-san, you're not obliged to stand up if someone enters, unless it's your own guru. You understand? But what's the problem here? Who is Baladev? Guru. Akanda Guru Tattva. Understand? That Romaharsan could not understand. This was his first problem. Second problem, he wanted to narrate Bhagavatam, but he didn't have the updated memo. He didn't get the email. Right? Vyasadeva had completely now put everything in perspective. He's still on the old manuscript. Right? Second thing, huh?
Is this before Sukadeva spoke then?
Yes.
Chronologically.
Chronologically it's not match up, but I'll show you how it fits a little bit chronologically. Now, he's about to speak that Bhagavatam to all the sages. But neither he understands, obviously, in full perspective, because one of the other things that happened, if you see Baladev, who do you look for next? That he did not stand up to look for Krishna was symptomatic he did not understand Bhagavatam. You understand? The whole Bhagavatam glorifies Krishna. If Baladev comes, you know Radhika is not coming. But if you see Baladev, you expect to see Krishna, so you jump up off your seat as Krishna Bhagavan. Baladev, you understand? That he did not get up means he did not recognize Baladev, nor was he looking for Krishna. How can he show others how to find Krishna in Bhagavatam? How can he show? Therefore, Baladev came, and Baladev, seeing this, saw this as the pride of scholarship. You understand? I've been empowered by Vyas. You understand? He's a GBC of this whole thing here. And I'm the temple commander, temple president of Namaskiranya. You understand? Therefore, I can not have to get up off my seat. You understand? Anyway, I'm joking. So now, Baladev, who's a Kanda Guru Tattva, he came, right? And he took one blade of grass. What is blade of grass? One one blade of grass. And with one blade of kusha grass, he took the kusha grass also used for what? Matting for what purpose? Doing yajna, sacrifice. So he was not killing Ramharsan Sutta. He was making a sacrifice in order that the real Bhagavatam would be spoken. Understand? He was sacrificing the lower conception that the higher conception could come out. So as he began to do that, all of a sudden, we all gathered here to hear the Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay. Okay. Haribo. All right.
What is that?
Ramharsan Sutta maybe was complaining. I don't know. But anyway, so now he asked all to say, hopefully everybody's all right. I hope there was nothing serious. We'll find out next tomorrow. Hopefully. So he asked the sages first, before I do this, do you want me to do this? Right? Because now what he's checking, I know the speaker is not ready to speak Bhagavatam, but also what is the quality of the hearer? Do you want to hear just any Bhagavatam or do you want to hear Bhagavatam? Do you want to hear real Bhagavatam or you want to just hear ritualistically, right? From Guru who's been pronounced Guru because he got that from Vyasadeva many years ago. Do you want that or do you want to hear Bhagavatam? Right? So he told, no, they said, no. We recognize you're a Khanda Guru Tattva. We can become enlightened by Guru, not by information. So whatever you think is best, that's what should happen. But we don't know what we will do. It would be wonderful if you would stay, speak Bhagavatam, but we know you're doing Tirtha Yatra, you're not staying in any one place. This was your vow when you left the battle. You said you're not fight, you were going to move. So we know this, so what will we do? He said, what power was there in the father by sort of what the father's profession is also inherited by the son. So in that right, the son has the right to follow his father in the external sense. In the internal sense, I'm giving my blessings to this boy that he will hear Srimad Bhagavatam and fully understand everything. Now the chronology part. Later Bhagavatam says, and then one day, right? There's a phrase that's used to say, and then one day, meaning that they did not hear Bhagavatam at that time. Later, that Sutta Goswami went to the bank of the Ganges. He heard from Shukadeva Goswami. In his heart, he accepted Shukadeva Goswami as his guru. He comes back to Namasaranya, then he recites Bhagavatam to the sages of Namasaranya. That's why the Bible says, and then one day. Right? And then Vishwanath Chakravarti gives an explanation and thing that this is what happened. Right? So now, Sutta Goswami comes back. They glorify Sutta Goswami. Says, so we know that you're very qualified because you've heard from your guru. He recites his pranam to his guru. Yam brahmanantam anapeti kritam yaswa anubhavam shutti. Yaswa anubhavam akila shutti saramekam. He recites these verses as pranams to Shukadeva Goswami. Then he begins speaking real Srimad Bhagavatam, which is that same Bhagavatam that we've heard. Now, Sanatana Goswami Pad. So what Sanatana Goswami Pad then did was, after the narration of the entire Srimad Bhagavatam, Maharaj Parikshit was in complete absorption, ready to leave due to the deep mood of separation. Takshak never killed Maharaj Parikshit. Not possible. You understand? He personifies. Many times when you hear these pastimes of a snake bite, the snake bite is the mood of separation. The snake is the external appearance to bewilder the atheist. You understand? So, in this way, Shukadeva Goswami, he became absorbed in separation and gave up that body. How any regular snake is Taksha, who was hiding, because Shakyamuni came, right? To, hey, what are you doing here? So he couldn't even hide properly. Right? Shakyamuni, hey, what are you doing here? Standing around, hissing and carrying on? Huh? Exactly. So this is how the whole Brahmin class came down. Because he accepted gold from Takshaka in order to carry this thing out.
Yeah, but doesn't it say there in the 12th canto that he did?
Gurudev told. What he did was he bit only the shell. You understand? You cannot bite the actual Mara cricket. He bit only that shell, the illusion of what was that body. Because what string he cursed was whom he thought was the king. Right? King is one upadi that you have. Who actually was Maharaj Cricket. Oh, he's great Krishna devotee. You understand? He's not just ordinary king. So what Srimi cursed was that king. He could not touch Maharaj Cricket by any curse. You understand? So now, before this happens, Uttara, the mother of Maharaj Parikshit, comes and says, oh my son, I was here and I heard everything. People are crying, people are fainting, people are expressing all kind of astasattvic bhavs, all kind of, what was going on? What was said? What was the gist of what was said? He said, Mom, I cannot repeat the whole thing to you now. But I can tell you, what you should do is you should give up everything and accept the foot dust of the lotus feet of the gopis of Braj. This is what he told to Uttara. You understand? Then, after that, Sanatana Goswami, that whole, everything coming in his heart, he wrote how that gradation of devotees takes place all the way up to glorifying Brijavasis. So he went through the Brahmins, demigods, up to Shiva, Brahma, Indra, everybody, all the way up to Pandavas, all the way up to Uddhava, who was the highest devotee outside of Braj. And he glorified all, showing the Krishna's separation from Braj and the whole pastime of Nava Vrindavan and all of that. So from that Mool Grunt, then all the Goswamis, they're deriving the perspective. Remember we talked about again, the perspective on what is Bhagavatam. And they began to write in that perspective. Rupa Goswami wrote Abhideya Tattva, how to practice bhakti. He wrote Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Upadeshamritam, Ujjal Nilamani. Then for those who are qualified in the level of Ujjal Nilamani, he wrote so many granthas like Hangsadutta, right? Utkarika Valadi. All kinds of wonderful granthas to taste the sweetness of rasa. Understand? Then, Jiva Goswami, he synthesized the writings of all the Goswamis and what Mahaprabhu taught by encircling it with the power of all Vedantic Siddhanta.
Say that again, please.
Jiva Goswami synthesized all the writings of the Goswamis in the Sandarbhas. Then he encircled it by Siddhanta so that nobody said, well, this is not Veda, right? Because some people, Mahaprabhu, he was just a, kind of a revolutionary, right? He was a revolutionary Brahmin. He brought in the people who were not Brahmins. So that is, no. He was Bhagavan, and he gave the ultimate Dharma. So then what he did was, when he wrote the Sandarbhas, he wrote all the synthesized teachings of Mahaprabhu and the Goswamis, and with the power of Siddhanta, he encircled it like a fort. So if you read the Sandarbhas, he's laid out everything according to all Vedic Sastras, Puranas, Upanishads, everything. So that he even quotes from other Sampradayas, Ramanuja Sampradaya, others. He completely encircles everything. And at the same time, he teaches the 3 phases of bhakti. Through 4 Sandarbhas, he teaches Sambandha Gyan. Bhakti Sandarbha, he teaches Abhideya. Priti Sandarbha, he teaches the Prayojan. Understand? Last, I'm sorry so late. Last, Bhakti Vinod. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur considered, this has already been done. Jiva Goswami has already synthesized everything, all Vedic Siddhanta. He already accomplished understanding how all 6 Vedic schools of philosophy there, Mimamsa, Sankhya, Nyaya, all the different schools of Vedic philosophy, they're all covered also in the Sandarbhas. So what did he do? He simply said, we already have all the source material. Let me simply delineate the Jiva, Bhakti, Bhakta, and Bhagavan. You understand? He delineated mainly the Bhakta, Bhagavan, and Bhakti. This is what he mainly delineated.
Where?
In all of his writings. Therefore, in his writings, he talked about things from more of an absolute perspective. It is from Bhakti Vinod Thakur the idea of this root being inherent comes. Right? It's there in other Shastra, everything else you can see in different ways, but other angles of vision can all be seen to that, so I don't want to get into that debate because it's a whole very nuanced thing. But he prominently spoke it. Why? Because he was going for the idea, I'll give you a better example. Al Srila Prabhupada. You originally are Krishna conscious. You've forgotten that. And you've come to this world. practice bhakti, get out of this world, and reestablish your relationship with Bhagavan. Have we ever directly had a relationship with Krishna? Anadiya Vijay Yukta Shah Purushasya Atmavedanam. Clearly, 11th canto, 10th, 11th canto, 22nd chapter, 10th verse. We have been in this condition, anadika, means from time without any beginning. We never were Krishna conscious. You understand? But why did they speak of it in that sense of reestablishing, going back to, being with? In order, because Jiva Goswami had already delineated all of the other things. So now he's just setting up the power of the relationship of the Jiva with Bhagavan. No need now to go over all those nuances. You understand? I can simply speak out. You have made a mistake in coming here. So get your heart right. You chose to come here. Tatashta. Boom. Okay? You got about 2 minutes to look one way or the other. Right? Nobody's giving you any information. If you look left or we don't even know what side the spiritual world is on. Should I look right or left? I was left-handed. I don't, you know. Because they wanted to instill the mood of any jiva that he will accept some in a mood of becoming Saranagata Baba. It was my fault.
My Krishna,
Yeah, exactly.
I made a mistake.
I made a mistake. It was my fault. Then Krishna becomes so kind. Then any pure devotee comes that way and then he meets the pure devotee. At that time, embedded in the heart of any pure devotee, Swarup Shakti is there. And from that time, Sava Sangamena Ratnya Ankur Rupa Eva Matti Jayata. From that time, in the form of Matti, Matti means inclination, discrimination, thoughtfulness, many in Sanskrit, many definitions. So when you meet Guru, he implants Matti. That discrimination, hey, what am I doing here? I'm not this material body. There must be something else. Then you start hearing Hari Katha from Guru Dev. This becomes Shravanam Kirtanam Jale Kariye Shekon in Chaitanya Charitamrita. By hearing that, the inclination to serve Krishna develops. This is called Krishna Seva Vasana. From that, one begins to practice Sadhan Bhajan. Then gradually, through the different stages of bhakti, one gives up the material conceptions until at last he comes, by the influence of Swarup Shakti, into his constitutional position, at which time the darshan of his Swarup is there. Now, in the eternal realm, there is no time. So when you take darshan of your Swarup, you don't think, what day did I arrive here? Nobody thinks like, you understand what I'm saying? Therefore, in Govinda Bhashya of Baladev Vijabhushan, he made one thing. He was discussing, Swena Sarupa Nispadhyate. Right? Then he says, Swena Shabdat. Swena Shabdat means his own. When the jiva approaches that realm of illumination and his spiritual body is there, he doesn't think, you understand? God didn't give me one of these things to put on. You understand? No, he sees there's no difference between myself and my bhav and this form. And there's no difference. This is me. This is actually me. And there's Nityavatmanka, means eternal time. So he doesn't look back and think, no, this isn't like another thing. Because I have many bodies. Right? I remember I was this one. I remember when I was Mukunda. You understand? State champion and stuff. Then I grew up and then you understand? That doesn't happen. There's no memory like that. Nityavatmanka. He thinks, I'm in the spiritual world. My Swarup is here. There's no idea I was in Maya, blah, 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 blah. There is an impression, a vasana, that's remaining deep, that only nourishes the love and affection for Krishna. There's some, like a vasana means like, I don't know how to say it. You may have some small scratch or scar on your hand, like on my stomach over here. Years and years ago, I was playing basketball and somebody had a belt on. And we were playing basketball and they jumped and the belt gave me a little cut over here. I never feel that thing. But if I see it, right, it reminds me of that time. So in the same way, one Swarup is there, only a Vasana is there. There's no pain, there's no actual feeling, but except there's no scar to remind you even. Only like a very distant impression. You understand? That's why you never come back here again. So only is part of the ingredients of your love and affection for Krishna. It's not a separate thing. So anyway, I wanted to bring up this point. I didn't get to the other point, which was about the actual nature of the jiva. Maybe next Monday we'll discuss that. But I want to get to this mood of Jiva Goswami and Bhaktivinoda Thakur. There'll be so much glorification of Jiva Goswami tomorrow. But it's important because now looking at the writings of Bhaktivinoda, on the level of here's Siddhanta, here's this Siddhanta. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur's emphasis was to, first of all, re-establish the pristine purity of Mahaprabhu's teachings, because they had come into some ill environment, because so many people, Sahajyavad, 13 Apasapradayas he delineated, right? Sakhi Beki, Gauranga Nagari, Chuda Beki, all these different things, right? So he wanted to re-establish that. He rediscovers the birthplace of Mahaprabhu, right? And then he writes essentially about the Bhakti itself, and Bhagavan, and how to make that connection. You understand? Because anybody coming into Bhakti, will they have access to reading the books of Jiva Goswami? Yes. Why need again to go over and try to delineate or repeat every single Siddhanta of Jiva Goswami? Now you're taking what Jiva Goswami wrote, because Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote in Swalikata Jivani, his own autobiography. He spent 10 years in Puri studying deeply the Siddhantas of the Goswamis under Vaishnava scholars. So you think he didn't know what the Sandarbhas were? So he purposely, out of realization of what was the mood to be established from the Sandarbhas, right? That's what he wrote. So this is a very important thing.
So you're saying that if we read Bhaktivinoda, we don't have to read the Satsang?
No, if you read Bhaktivinoda, you'll want to read the Sandarbhas. Understand? But some have thought maybe there's some difference, right? Because Bhaktivinoda Thakur has spoken openly about certain things, the Swarup of the Jiva, this thing. In the Goswami's writing, you don't see so much about the Swarup of the Jiva in a direct sense. Not so much writing about that. Because the purpose and mood of writing was different. There's certainly information there, no doubt. And it's Siddhanta. But what Bhaktivinoda Thakur wanted to do was take the Siddhanta, right? Now he's putting it into, for one, the audience appropriate, and secondly, to function practically. To function practically, right? With what the Goswamis wrote, with all that knowledge. And essentially that boils down to bhakti. What is bhakti? How to practice it? You cannot practice bhakti without a bhakta, and the bhakta will reveal Bhagavan. Now, in the course of that, you'll also read Sandarbhas, also read all writings of Goswami Varga, everything. Okay, any last questions?
So then are you suggesting also that one should read Bhaktivinoda before reading Sandarbhas?
It is helpful, because the direct conceptions that have come down in our Guru Varga, right, are really Bhaktivinoda Thakur Dara, Bhaktivinoda Vichar. This is what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur especially gleaned from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who was both his father and Guru in that sense, and what they gave as the special means for the entire world. The process of bhajan during the time of Bhaktivinoda Thakur may not have been suitable for all the jivas of all places to obtain the goal of bhakti. Why? Because not everybody has adhikar. Even there, not everybody had adhikar. That's why you had the apasampradayas. So what to speak of now? If anybody is coming, like I told the story the other day during Gurudev's appearance day, we all grew up in Brooklyn, we were playing basketball, we had our, days, so to speak, of wildness and all of that. Somebody came and they told us, okay, you come from this, come on in, sit down, do bhajan, you're so-and-so Manjari, so forth. So I would have thought, can my name be Spalding? Because my favorite basketball was Spalding, that company. Is there any Spalding Manjari?
I call them Spaldings.
Yes, Spalding, yeah.
This reminds me though of the situation where Bhaktivinoda Thakur keeps, just like Ramaharshan is taken out of the, say, parampara and given to Sutta. Similarly, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was initiated and studied under Vipin
Bihari Goswami.
Goswami, and he was not fit to be in the parampara. He didn't kill him with his kusha grasp, but he cuts him out of the...
What?
Yeah,
Can you
but-
say that again?
Bipin Bihari Goswami was the Diksha Guru of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. At the suggestion of Bhagavad Das Babaji, he took from Bipin Bihari Goswami. Bipin Bihari Goswami, there's different opinions, and because we were not there, and I'm not sure, you hear different things, right? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur did not seem to hold high regard for Bipin Bihari Goswami. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we don't read that he ever rejected him or anything.
No.
But Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur did not hold him in high regard. But what the Charya Leela is also something special. Because of who Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was and what he was meant to do, his natural non-acceptance of simple tradition was part of that, just like Mahaprabhu himself. You understand? So Bipin Bihari Goswami, the traditional pariwars were the dominant influence of Bengal and Braj at that time. Traditional pariwar means Advaita pariwar, Gadara pariwar, Advaita pariwar, Janava pariwar. Back to those persons, right? So that was the tradition going on at the time. And they were very close-knit. Especially in Braj, they were close-knit because in Braj, they are a minority. They were the Bengalis, the Gaudiyas, who came here to Braj because it's a holy place. They're living all here now, but UP Wallace is a whole different thing. People who live up in that area, Hindi-speaking people, it's a whole different thing, right? So they were very close-knit. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was stationed in different places throughout his working time as a magistrate. But he did some things, right, that were certainly contrary to the norm of that tight-knit community. But again, that had to be done to free the conceptions of Sudha Bhakti as it would manifest in the prophecy of Mahaprabhu, like I was speaking on Gurudev's appearance day. One thing. For two, many of the conceptions had started to get distorted in the association of some of the traditional pariwars, because you cannot account every single person in the line, whether they're pure devotees. No, we're not going to follow a pranali simply based on lineage of family or discipleship like that. But we're going to follow a lineage based on where the conception was maintained purely. Because you have the argument from the traditional pariwars. Wait a minute. Goksharas Babaji was in the Advaita Pariwar. Or was it? Yeah, Advaita Pariwar. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur took initiation in Janava Pariwar. And so you have this kind of discussion. Bhaktivinoda said, no. Parampara is the descent of the conception. And where the conception has manifested purely is our Guru Pranali. It doesn't mean others are impure. So one thing doesn't axiomatically prove.
I didn't.
It was about Bipin Bihari.
He was saying just like Ramaharshan was kind of taken out of the parampara. So
okay.
too.
Okay, I thought you said Bhaktivinoda was taken out.
Krishna says, Evam parampara praptamivang rajatu. I began establishing this with you, Arjuna.
Yes.
You have an Arjuna Sampradaya?
No.
That
Good
traces
point.
their lineage back to Arjuna?
Yes.
No.
Yeah. But Srila Prabhupada one time mentioned that he's in the parampara by conception. So wherever the conception is there, we accept. But he's not listed like you're saying in our parampara.
Song.
Right. He's not in the song.
No.
And this is important that we should be. Back to Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Jairita Lila Vishnu Shribhat Karamos Raj Vijay Sriman Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj. And they go all the way back to Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Then it got back to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Then it got to Prabhupada, some stuff with Acharya Prabhupada, then Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. But not good. We should recite our Guru Pranali. Because our Guru Pranali, in the word Siddha Pranali, the Pranali is the line of Gurus. That they were Siddhas mean that the Siddha Swarup Shakti has come down a pure channel. That's how you got it. So it's important for any disciples in the Bhakti Vinod Dhara to be able to recite the Pranali back to Mahaprabhu. You understand? So people, you can't just say, because if you ask, well, who's Baladev Vijabhushan? Yeah, he was in, I think he was in Krishna consciousness. And knowing the Manjari Swarup, later on, sins. That's why we recite it. When we do the Jayadwani, that's why we're reciting all those names. Oh yeah, Gauri Maharaj is so long, yeah, okay. Ki Jai. Ah, Jai Ho.
But actually, that's, just cut out of it. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta was instructing us that that's the proper way to practice it. Because he said that that's what Srila Bhaktisiddhanta had written so many books and gone through so much austerity. He was actually during that time of Bhaktisiddhanta, the individuals there, they were very inimical as to what was going on. In the same way as they were inimical to Sri Mahaprabhu.
Right, right. So Sanatana Prabhu was mentioning that another reason it's important to do is written actually in the how important it is to recite all the names back. To Brahmins and so forth, so on, they also it's equally important for those who are coming in the Bhakti Vinod Dhara to really be clear about the conceptions of Bhakti Vinod in their relationship to the Goswamis. This also does not mean, and we should not end up in debates with people about it, that other perspectives are wrong. Even in traditional pariwars, in the Babaji community, there are many Mahapurushas there. Many high class of Vaishnavas. And Siddhantavid. And there's not wrong. If we have one angle of vision, they have another angle of vision, it's not wrong. Something is opposite Siddhanta, you have to know what is Siddhanta. Something is called Drishtikon, means an angle of vision, you'll also have to know what that is. You understand? Just like this whole issue with this Swarupa of the Jiva, I'm not getting into details here, but it can be seen from different angles of vision. So one does not negate the other one. You understand? I'm giving you an example. That many of our Guru Varga have spoken clearly, Swarup is inherent where? In the Jiva? Where's the Swarup inherent? In the Jiva? In the constitution of a Jiva. So then we have to clearly know what they mean by saying constitution. Right? They didn't say this Swarup was inherent in the Jiva. I remember when I was having the debate, right? I kept debating. I said, well, I don't get this. Why, So one person wrote me and said, oh, Mukunda, how can you say? What are you saying? The Siddha Dehas is like in a pocket in the heart somewhere? And I realized instantly they did not understand. It was semantics. They didn't understand what was being said. What our Acharya said was the Swarupa is inherent in the constitution of the Jiva. What is the constitution of a Jiva?
Nature. The nature.
So here, his nature is that he's Krishna Das. Mahaprabhu said, Tiverasu Goya Krishna Nitya Das. So he's the servant of Krishna, is his constitution. So they're saying in that constitution, all the specificity and nuances and everything is present in that constitution. It's not present in the conditioned Jiva in this world. Not in the conditioned Jiva in this world. The Swarup Shakti is not there yet. So there's no Swarup there. Now, the Acharyas have used the example of a seed to show how, once you come to Bhakti, it begins to unfold, etc., etc. But it's not in the conditioned Jiva. Understand? So, similarly, Some say because clearly it's mentioned Krishna Bhakta Jana Mula Hoy Sadhu Sangha. The root cause of bhakti is what? So are they wrong? Not wrong. So what angle of vision? Right? Now, information-wise, we should know clearly what our Guru Varga said, and so forth, so on. We can be familiar, but we shouldn't try to debate these things. Like that. Okay.
Because you might make offense.
You might make offense, right? Especially if you don't know also down to all sides, everything. No, it's like this. Okay. Jaya Sachinandan Jaya Gauda Hari Jaya Sachinandan Jaya Gauda Hare Krishna. Rama Rama Hare Hare Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhu Guru Parampara Guru Parampara Guru Parampara Guru Parampara Jai Shri Gurudev ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Parampara ki jai, Jai Shri Nitai Gaur ki jai, Jai Shri Satchidanand Gaur Hari ki jai, Radha Govinda De, Shishwara Madhava Shishwara Vinobi Hariju ki jai, Jai Jai Shri Radhe. Hari Bol, Hari Bol. You can push that thing, Ganesh, just push the top of that little thing there.
What?
Just push it
Goodbye.
down.
Push it down.
No, just the top
The
part.
top.